Welcome. This video is a practice on how to write out your work when you're doing conversions in the U.S. system, sometimes called the American system. The method that we're going to be using, they show you on page 457, example number 2. And then on page 458. We're going to be using a process called unit analysis. We're going to use it for the American system and then the American to the metric system. And the instructions here say show all work. Write your answers as decimals. Don't round answers unless it asks you to do so. Problem number 1, we have 18 inches and we want to know how many feet it is. We will start with our 18 inches. I'm going to multiply that by a conversion factor. The conversion factor will have inches in the denominator and feet in the numerator because that's what I'm converting to. I want to end up with some amount of feet. Then I look at this feet over inches and I write it so that it becomes the number 1. 1 foot equals 12 inches. That's called a conversion factor. 1 foot equals 12 inches. It becomes a fraction problem. And when we're multiplying fractions, I can cross-cancel numbers, but also labels. 12 and 18 both divide by 6. 6 goes into 18, 3 into 12, 2. So once I've done all the cross-canceling, and I'm going to notice that my last unit is the unit that I want to end up in, so I know I have it written out correctly. And then I'll multiply 3 times 1 foot, 2 times 1. Notice that the inches have both been canceled, so that unit is no longer being used. So we have 3 over 2 feet. 3 over 2, we could leave it as 3 over 2 and 1 1/2. Since it says write answer in fraction form, that's what we'll do. Let's take a look at one that has to do with weight. It's another unit that we convert from one thing to another in. We have 20 ounces, so that's what we're starting with. And I'm converting that from ounces into pounds. So I want my last label to be pounds. So my ounces will go down on the bottom, pounds on the top. Notice I haven't put any numbers in that conversion factor yet. I'm just writing in the labels because I want to make sure that my last label goes with what my answer needs to be. 1 pound is 16 ounces. So I fill in the numbers so that they make the number 1. 1 pound equals 16 ounces, so that is the conversion factor. I'll cross cancel with my ounces. 20 and 16 both divide by 4. Then I can multiply 5 times 1, 1 times 4. Those are pounds. This time I'll write my answer in decimal form. 5 over 4 is 1.25. So 20 ounces is 1 1/4 or 1.25 pounds. Now we'll go the other way around. Instead of starting with ounces and going to pounds, we're going to start with pounds and convert to ounces. So we want our last thing this time to be ounces. So we have 2.5 pounds. And I want to convert that into ounces. Notice the pounds label will go on the bottom in my conversion factor. And the ounces is what I want to end up with. I have ounces on the top. That's where I want it to be. So I'm going to write in the numbers. 1 pound is 16 ounces. Then I can cross cancel the pounds. Notice this time my numbers on the top here, I'm going to multiply 2.5 times 16. I get 40. So I wanted to go from pounds to ounces. This time the pounds got cross-canceled. and I ended up with 40 ounces. Number 4, we want to write 23 quarts into the form of gallons. So I'll start with my 23 quarts. I always put my starting amount over 1, realizing that I'm going to be doing a multiplying fraction problem. I want to go from quarts to gallons. So gallons needs to be on the top, the last unit that I have there. Let's see, 1 gallon is 4 quarts. So 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. They make a conversion factor because they're equal to each other. They make the number 1. When I multiply something by 1, it doesn't change the number. It just changes the appearance of the number. Now I'm going to do some cross-canceling here with my quarts. Again, I want to end up with gallons, and I do end up with gallons. And then I'm going to multiply, since I can't cancel 23 and 4. 23 times 1, 1 times 4. These are gallons. They want this answer in fraction form. 4 goes into 23 5 times with a remainder of 3. So I have 5 3/4 gallons. The next one illustrates an important idea when you're doing conversions. Sometimes there's going to take more than one conversion factor. I have 128 fluid ounces. I'm going to multiply that by some conversion factors until I can end up with quarts. So I'm going to start with 128 fluid ounces. I'm going to multiply by ounces over cups, because you can convert fluid ounces into cups. Cups I convert into pints. I still don't have quarts. Pints, I can end up with quarts. So I continue to convert until I end up with the unit that I want. 1 cup is 8 fluid ounces. 1 pint is 2 cups. 1 quart is 2 pints. Now I can go ahead and cross-cancel all the labels that will cancel. Notice the quarts doesn't cancel. It's the last one. I can do some cross-canceling here, but it might be quicker to just multiply all the top numbers together. 28 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 128. My bottom is 1 times 8 times 2 times 2. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. And I can take 128 divided by the 32 and I get 4. So 128 fluid ounces is 4 quarts. So there's some practice problems. Hopefully will help you with the converting within the U.S. custom